as a part of that dashboard, we will see how the time intelligence function, which for which Power BI is very famous, how they make things easy for us to do, and how to use custom visuals also, because most of the general visuals I guess all of you would be aware with. If not, go to the previous lectures, you can find it there. That being said, we will be using the same data set we used last time, the US dashboard. For those of you who are new to this particular session and haven't got that access, let me share it in the group. So there's the link. From there, you can get that particular US data set from where, and the visuals, download it all so we can work with that. That being said, so let's begin without much of a discussion. So yeah, I will pick the orders dashboard and go to transform data. I hope you, meanwhile, all of you have downloaded it. I guess most of you would have been attending the sessions, earlier sessions, already have the access. Those who haven't, go to it, download it, and in the US Superstore data, you will get this. So all I will do is create a simple new column, because that's all I need to do in mQuery. Name it as revenue and put it as sales plus profit. And that being done, so let's go back and see the revenue is getting calculated, and it is sum of sales plus profit. Okay, that being said, now let's go home and close it. It is asking, do I want to apply changes? Of course I do. It is applying the changes. Let the data load. So now that I have my data set reflecting here, can you identify what are the key measures that should matter to the business? You can always put it on chats. I want to see how many of you can identify what are the measures that are important from a business perspective. As you can see the column names. So what are the measures? So I have a few suggestions. Profit. Then there's revenue. Anything else? You're doing good. Profit and revenue are there. Sales. Yeah. Great. So profit, revenue, sales are the main files that are to be compared. It is for those who are asking which file we need to download. In the dataset, please download all the files, because they are custom graphics that we will graphs also that we will be using. But the file that you will be opening right now as your dataset is US sales store. Let me get the name correct to your precision. Give me a sec. US Superstore is the file that you guys need to download. That's what we are working on. So please do. So yeah, great work. Sales, profit, revenue. Profit, somebody says loss. So profit is the single column that is accounting from profit loss. So we will be created the dashboard on these three measures. And what are the key dimensions that we need? Anyone? We talked about measures. We have identified the three measures. So now I want to know the dimensions against which these measures should be evaluated. We have struck down that three measures are most important: profit, revenue, and sales dimensions. Customer ID, somebody said, but that's too small. There will be a lot of customers here. So a company profit, generally, we don't go to that granular level. Date, yeah, that's a very crucial, important, good job. That is something that's the most important because year over year growth or year to date growth we will do. Area, I don't see area is another thing. So area, what is the here? There are city and state. So what we can do is create a country, right? Since it's US superstore, so there will be only one country right now. But yeah, these are the things that can be. Even for a more practical purpose, what generally we can do is create a hierarchy of area, that is city, state, and country. So the user has the option to drill down or drill up as per his wish. So that's being said, area, in short, geography and customer ID has been said. Anything else? Another thing that is very crucial is category and subcategory, because how each category and segment wise sells is. That is also very important if you say. So we will be showing that against, but date is the most crucial dimension against which we will be working, as already pointed out. So let's begin. So the very first thing is that for sales or profit or things like that, we generally don't need to. We want to create three dashboards, and from the perspective of Power BI, saying that we don't want three pages, identical pages, showing one page as one for sales, one page with similar graphs for profit, one page with similar graph for revenue. So we will try to handle all the three in a single page. For doing so, we have to create a calculation that will let user to select if he wants to see profit, revenue, or sales, and based on his decision, it will change the value. So to do this, let's come to here, the model. And what we will do here is create a new table. So we'll go to enter data, because there is nothing called the cust. If you talk about parameters, generally tools like Tableau use parameters, but here we don't have we do have parameters, but they are in Power Query end. Here, if you go for parameters, let's see to the data source. If you click on new parameters, these are, as it says, what if parameters. I just want to show you they are whole numbers and decimal numbers. That is, they are used generally to show what if conditions. That is, what if my profit was 110% of what it is now, then how much growth would be. So queries like that can be answered with these parameters, but they don't take text values. And we not want text values here to switch within the toggles. So we'll come here. And since we can't use parameter, we will enter data. That will create a table for us. So I will write it the name as parameter ID. parameter. There are three, so I will put it as parameter ID. 3. Sales, profit, revenue. Load. So now we can see there is a new table here with the parameter details. Up to now, I think there's nothing fancy here. If somebody is asking where to open US Superstore, for those who don't know, go back to previous session after this session. If you are stuck in the basics, so you can know. I will just explain it for once. We'll go to get data, Excel, and from Excel, we will go to US Superstore and open it. In that, you will see an sheet as orders and that you can use. So from get data, we'll get the orders. And as we told, we will go to enter data and create a table that is with the 3 parameter name. Let's give it a better name. Parameter. So it's easy to explain. So there's no relation between these, neither we want any relation between them. Now let's come back to our original table. I hope we are clear up to this. So let's put sales here, profit here, and revenue here. I'll convert all the 3 as text. Sorry. So now, that being said, that's because we want to see how our values are changing. What's the data type of revenue? Just let me check. Okay, that's was the issue. It's taking as that's why it is going. Let it be decimal number, so it will give me the correct value. It is using mean, which I don't want. Sum, so it should be sum. 2.58 is addition of 2.30 and 286. Okay, so yeah, now we are getting the correct value. Now that being said, now comes let's come to calculation. What we wanted is come here and take parameter and put it here. And now it's a slicer. So let's go to this slicer and let's make it a horizontal slicer. Selection control, single select, general. Drop down, let it be. Now we have a slicer with single control at a time that from drop down we can select any one. Now on this, I will create a calculated field. A new column. as we would say. We'll put it as name as selected parameter. The measure actually, let's put it as that. Now I will use a simple if statement. If min of parameter id equal to 1. So there's a typo equal to 1. What's the main value? Yeah. Then we want sales as it was our first value, right? So if min of this equal to, just give me a sec. Let's go with single F. Yeah, so if this is, then if min of this is equal to 1, then we should have orders. Just give me a sec. Yeah, sorry. Just give me a sec. Let me add a few people who are waiting in the room. So yeah, that being said, so let's go back to calculations. I hope it's sum of orders. Say so if the value is 1, what this calculation will pick you, that will aggregate the sales value. Else if its value is 2, then let's sum of profit value. And as a last case, we should sum obviously of if before this is what I was needing. Okay. Now let's take this whole, put it again. At third, it should be revenue. The order we put it in. Sum of revenue, pardon me. So once you put enter the number of bracket it needs to do, it will do it automatically. So coming back to calculation, as you can see, what it is doing is based on parameter ID value, that what's the minimum value that is coming, it will change the value of the selected measure. So let's put it okay. Now try to put that. Now, as I told, we have discussed it multiple times that in previous session that measure is not related to any table. So we can have it in, like right now it is showing in a parameter table. We could have that back again in orders table as we want. So we'll let it be here itself and put it as a drag drop and make it text. So it is showing me 6.30 for sales. If I change it to revenue, it's not changed. Let me just give it a shot. From let's create a list. Profit revenue. The value is not changing. Let me see why it's not changing. Let's go to library properties and see what the values are being shown. Let's debug it. Parameter value. Let's put it as cart. So is the value changing on profit? No, it's always coming as 1. Now let's see why it is always coming as 1. Parameter name, is it changing? Sorry, let's remove it and put a parameter name. Something wrong with our slicer, how it is operating. Revenue, sales. So parameter ID, what is it taking? Count. Let's put it as minimum. The values are changing, we can see right now. So why not the selected measure? Let's go back to the selected measure. The calculation. Let's do an alternative. Let's put it as max, what it is showing. It is showing us blank. Just give me a sec, let me debug it. So to debug it, let's put some arbitrary values itself. Let's put the parameter IDs itself. Let's put it min. And let's put it here. And see what it is giving me now. Selected major for revenue. So the main value is giving me right, but it is giving me wrong solution. Sorry guys, I have to check on it that what is happening right now. Hold on, I found what is going wrong, I think. Let's come back to table. And go to parameter. And starter type is phone. And we can see selected major as showing as 1. That shouldn't be the case. One number. If I remove everything, if I put it as then we get rid of everything. Let's start from the basics. Else nothing. Let's see if this works. Let's put as 2. This work. try to get rid of it. This one now. Okay. So, is it giving me the right values too for others? Oh, that being said, what I can do is a calculation here. Okay. Let's try to do this. I will rename the table as measure selector because I'm not sure what is happening. That one step is done. So let's put the whole of the calculation. Okay, it's not finding. Let's fix it also. Rename it. User ID. Well, something is going terribly wrong and I can't identify. So let's skip this particular step. Maybe at the end of the session, if I will get some time, I will debug this. Let's for a minute take it against a particular measure. Sorry, I couldn't debug that what's going wrong. It generally works just fine, as I will show in other dashboard. Something maybe a issue with the latest version of Power BI update or something is going on. So what we can do is let's take some particular measure revenue, and we will do our calculation against it to see. So let's get rid of other things. And there's one alternate way. Since this is not working, what we can do is use bookmarks to achieve what we are trying to achieve. So we lose everything, put revenue here. This is the revenue. And let's take order date and put it here. Let's get rid of every. So we have everything from 16 to 18 if we see. So we'll create a slicer right here. So that's a year-wise slicer that we have here. Let's come here. Let's go to selection control because at a time we want a person to select only one year. So now it's a single selection slicer. From here, can have. So we have everything from 16 to 19 in our slicer, as you can see. So what we should do is get rid of 2016 value. So I'll take again orders, and from order hierarchy, let's take here, put it to page filter, and year should be always, I want 2016 to be not there. So I can basically filter it out, or if I want it to be dynamic, I will just put it should be greater than 2016. So if 2020 comes tomorrow into the picture, it will keep on showing. So coming back to here, let's get rid of other things. So now it has year only. We have single control. And let's move our slicer to horizontal. That looks better. So we have 2017 data right now. We want 2016 data, but first thing we want to do is year over year calculation like trend. So how could we do that? For that, any time intelligence function to do it in Power BI, we need is to create a calendar. The two ways to create a calendar. First is come here. There's something called new table. If you can see, if I create it. So calendar auto. Maybe so what it does it checks your table. Okay, let's rename it. So it takes everything from 1 Jan 2016 to 31st December. It is taking, right? So what's the minimum date we have in this? Let's see. Let's put order date here. And from here, let's go move to, instead of date hierarchy, we need the date. And we needed the value, so make it card. Move to value. And move to card. So it is showing me count. That's I don't want. What I mean is, want is the minimum value. So since it is the slicer is active, it is showing me as June. If I get rid of that, it will show me minimum data. For 16, it is Jan 3, 2016. And what is the maximum? December 31st, 2016. Let's move to 2019. 30 December 2019. So let's move to calendar and see if all the dates are covered. Everything from 1st Jan 16 to 31st December 2020 has been covered, as you can see. The second order date, you will ask me why more than 19, since Power BI should be auto smart to understand that nothing date more date than 19 is there. That's because of this particular. The ship date it took into consideration, and that's why it added ship date will always be after more than order date. So for some order date where the 2020 date was coming, it took it the data up to 2020. If we want it to be fixed, what we could have done is went to calendar, min of order date, and max of order date. So now it is taking me from 3 January 2016 to 30 December 2019, right? Now, what I want is the first, it should start with the first day of the month. So what I can do is use the year function. and before that, a date function that will create a date. So year 1, 1. If I do that, my date will start from 1st Jan. Similar to that, if I take everything and put it here and max. So my now date is from 1st January to the max of order date. Sorry, it won't be 1, 12, 31st. So now, because generally your date will be some ending in middle of year as the data arrives. So you always want the first and last of that you're starting in India. So for that, you can use this calculations. So you had to create a separate calendar because the calendar auto against which your auto time intelligence is working should have unique values itself. So now I'll create a relationship. And order date is our man key. So that's what we'll target about relationship. So one to many, yes, it is. For each date, there can be multiple date in orders table. Cross-directional, single or both directional. If I put it both directional, it will, if we filter something at orders, it will filter the calendar side and vice versa. So I will put it as both right here. And close it. So now you can see the filter is active. Now I will get rid of this order calendar. And now all the dates that we will be using will be from this table, because that will be our man table against which everything will be there. So let's move to date hierarchy. And it should be year basis. Get rid of other things. And selection control, general, horizontal, perfect. So from date, I will put it into page filter as earlier. And let's go to hierarchy, and instead of date to granular data, let's use year instead. Is more than the same thing. 2016. Apply. So that being said, now we have get rid of this. Yeah. So now we have this dashboard. As you can see, it is showing data everything from 2018. If I move here, 2019. So that's what revenue is showing. So I need to see the revenue of previous year to compare it against. So for that, I'll create a new column. Calculate function. Calculate function works like you put the aggregation function first, and then the filter conditions. So sum of revenue, comma, what will be the filter condition? Same period, previous year. And against what will be the filter same period of date. But that shouldn't be the order date. That should be always calendar date. Because in order date, like the after 3 of Jan, there may be a sales on 5th of Jan, and that time intelligence doesn't work that way in Power BI. It should be regular, first, second, third, fourth, like that period. Every date should be there in the time period that's calculated. I will close it. And it should be previous year revenue. Now we have previous year's revenue also. Let's put it here. This year revenue. This year revenue is 86 and previous year revenue, let's put it as card, coming as planned. I wonder why is that happening. So let's see 2000. Sum of orders revenues and period calendar date. So let's see what is happening now. Let's make it a table. See what is it happening. And then I will put the revenue here. So for 2019, it is missing the previous year's revenue. If I select both the values, then let's see what it does. Selection control. Let's select allow multiple selects and see 2018 and 19. But there is something wrong. I think Power BI is not working right due to some function. Let me restart the Power BI as a whole because this function should have been working ideally. Let me restart it as a whole and let's see. Just give me a second. So I will stop here, restart it, and then see.
Dear participants, I guess if you're liking the workshop so far, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the Body and Foodie channel, and don't forget to this.
So yeah, you can see my screen now, I guess. So I made some changes and restarted it. Maybe some version problem was coming, so I think it should work now. So a few calculations that I did in meanwhile. Let's go to there. First, if you go to relationship, you can ignore that top end thing that I will tell you later. First, major selector, calendar, and order. Same as previous, what they were. Now let's try to see if our slicers are working right now. I think Power BI, I updated it yesterday and it wasn't working fine, right? That's what was creating the whole of the problem. So here we have the slicers. Selection control will be single, obviously. General, from vertical, horizontal. So again, the same slices that we had. Now let's go to orders. And we'll try this. Same calculation that we were using. That wasn't working for some reason. Let's try to put it here and see if it's working now. And yes, the very same calculation that we are using is working now. So probably there was something wrong with the maybe intermittent error with the Power BI or something. The version that I opened, not very sure. That's the first time that I faced. So yeah, now we are back to normal, so we can do it. So the first thing that I told was that, as you can see, it has the same calculation as the that min of values, and against that, for first we are taking as profit, for second we are taking as sales, and third as revenue. And that's how the slicer is. If I go to the slicer major selector, the first is profit sales, second is sales, and third is revenue. So that's how calculation has been done. That being said, now let's move to what we are trying to do with current year and previous year, right? For that, let's close it. From calendar, let's try to put year here. And put it as slicer. We want it as list. Single selection control, obviously. Let's make it horizontal. So let's move it here. So yeah. Now if I go to 17, 18, 19, it is changing. Okay. About the this much we have been able to achieve in previous also. Let's go to previous year revenue to see if that issue has been solved. Revenue, calendar year as access. So for 2019, revenue is this much. Revenue previous year, same calculation that I tried to do it just few minutes ago. Let's try to put it as value. And now you can see that value is coming. So now we have a revenue and previous year revenue, and that's what we are going to use for our calculations. The thing here is, instead of using revenue, since that was giving us issue, what we will use is originally selected measure. I did that using switch statement just to because the if statement was not working while I restarted the VDA. So we will be using with selected measure as I told. And previous year measure. That will be nothing. Selected measure, same period last year. So that's been clear to all of you, I hope. Let's put it like that. Now go to calendar. From view, let me bring back filters. Filter on visual. No, I want the year filter on the page. So from year, advance is more than is greater than 2016. Apply filter. And now you have the 3 years filter. Now let's import a chart for the next thing that we are gonna do. Import visual from a file, import, go to the data source folder that I went, and there would be something called bullet chart. Let's import that because that will come in very handy right now. Great. So let's take selected measure. Then let's check previous year measure. And from calendar, I will take month because at a time a person can only select 1 year, so it's okay. So it will show me how your measure are performing against previous month. So I hope you guys should try to do at your end, try the calculation now that everything is working fine. Try to do the very same calculation at your end. Once you are done, I will give you 2 or 3 minutes. After that, we will talk about that visual and more calculations that we do. So take your time and do it. So I hope you have done up to this, so we can move further. So the bullet chart that I imported, for those of you who want to try it, it is a good alternative to this chart. So it will show you kind of year by year growth in a way over it. So that chart or this, it's your personal choice, what you want to use to show the relation between the two. That being said, let's move to the next calculation. Now I want to show how the month-wise performance has been. That is month-over-month growth. So for that, selected measure will be same as before. I'll just take it and put it here. From calendar, I will get calendar month on the axis. So we have to, let's sort our months properly. Sort by calendar month. Just give me a second. Okay. I took the wrong month. Let's take this month and it will short it right. Yeah. So now, as you can see, the holiday seasons, December are the most profitable for sales. From profit perspective, the graphs will change dynamically. That's what we are trying to do first. Unfortunately, due to some issue with Power BI, that wasn't working back then. Now, changing for profit also. The sales are great in November, but not so profit. So that's kind of thing that you can see using this. Now I want month over month. So for that, I will do a new column. I'll put it as prep month and put it as calculate sum of what's the name? Sorry, I won't be using sum because selected measure is already aggregated, pardon me. And then just a previous month function, and that will do the thing for me. Not order, calendar date. And there we close it. And a close for this. So now there would be a prep month value. If I try, and put it in the value bar, so now we have previous month value and current month. Now I have to do a calculation. Let's name it as PM major to make it more sense. So we have previous month value and current month value. And now what I will do is create a calculation of growth between them. For that, again, go to previous month value, new column, and a division, a simple divide, and I will put it as MOM. Sorry. Value, month over month growth value. So this is nothing but doing a calculation that how your values is growing over month. Circular dependency. Why a circular dependency is being found? Let me see. Date is on order date. So yeah, a circular dependency is coming because I'm trying to put it as column. So let's delete it. And create a new column. I think that should resolve the value. Hmm. So yeah, now we have a month over month growth value finally working. What we can take is convert my graph to line in this chart and put the month over month growth value to the line value. So that will show me if my growth is increasing or it is decreasing based on this. So similar to that quarter over quarter value or year over year value, we can do with our charts based on this calculation. So two things we have done. Now the third thing that we will do is a scatter plot. That is a relation between my measures. For that, let's select a scatter plot to give you an idea. Not here, pardon me. And put a selected measure to one of the axes. And let's see if there's something called profit ratio I have created. So no, let's create a calculated field as profit ratio. Profit ratio is how much profit you are earning against the sales. That's what a profit ratio is. So let's create a profit ratio. And let's put this name as profit ratio. So now we have something called profit ratio, and I will put it as my axis. So I have two measures, X and Y. One is profit and other is my selected measure. Now what I want to compare, I want to actually compare subcategory. So I will put it as details. So it is showing me how my different categories are comparing for each profit ratio. But I want them to be colored by, that is legends by category. I will put category as legends. So now, if we talk about right now, like let's get it here. If we talk about profit loss, like as I was saying, profit ratio is an important thing that can be relation, show a relation. Right now, we can see like uh, for selected category copier, we have a great amount of profit we are earning. But when it comes to profit ratio, it is less. That is for earning that great amount of profit, we are putting a lot of cost investment also in it. So the sales to profit ratio is not that good. Whereas if we come to this particular thing, papers in office supply category, so that gives you it's a lot of profit coming for a very small investment. So that's what it does. Profit ratio. It will and based on your selected measure, it will keep on changing, and the color will show you that which are the best performing and worst performing by category wise. Now, before I move further, let's increase our page size. That we can do it from here. Page size. Let's go to custom, and this height I will put it as, let's put it as 1200. So now we have space for putting more. So now I want to do the same thing that I did before, that is Y over year growth, but this time by subcategory. That is how each subcategory is performing against each other. So for that, let's again come here. I'll put a clustered bar chart. Selected measure again. Previous year. But this time, instead of using years, I will use subcategory as my axis. And maybe category as my legend. But that will make the color clumsy, or maybe I will ignore that category because that will already there are two colors. So that will be. So let's increase it a little bit. So it also. Maybe your normal access will give it more space. Yeah. So yeah. So this gives you again comparison that how much this type of charts are more preferable than your normal bar chart, because in that you will only see that how much of your growth is coming for each category, which is the best performing for a category in terms of sales or in the terms of revenue. But now you can see two things. First is how much, who is the best performing and how are they performing compared to previous year. For instance, bookcases are performing worse than previous year. So that's something that we need to work on. So such kind of analysis can be done when you're using year over year calculation for this against some particular dimension like category, subcategory. Then again, month over month growth, few companies would want it to be not over the month, but over the quarters. Somebody comes up that we don't want it over month, we want it over quarter with queries like that. You don't have to do anything hard. You are using MOM growth, right? So for MOM growth, we will go to previous month. Major. And instead of like, if we want it to be quarter by quarter growth, just showing us, because I think that will make more sense. Previous quarter. I'm not changing the here, no change will be there. And we'll also change the axis from month to quarter to make it more sense. So now instead of month, I'll put quarter here. So now it is showing you a quarter by quarter growth. And that's how easy it is to do things like that in Power BI using this time intelligence calculation. With a single value change, you can do month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year, such kind of calculations as the business points. And if it is the most efficient is, I think, is the selected measure, because when the business selects like from this particular period to this particular period, like 25th of November 2018 to 15th November 2018, what's the growth for previous year. So for that same period previous year is the calculation that will come most handy. Now we will move to the last fancy graph that we have. Let's select a donut for this. So we'll put a selected measure again in the value. Let's put something as states. In legend. So it is showing all the states, right? So I want the top 5 states only to be shown. So I will take states, filter on this visual, and top n, top 5. By selected measure, right? Apply. So that gives you top 5 by selected measure, how the states are performing. But it misses a very important thing, that how much of the total contribution these states are putting. So that's what we are trying to do here with our advanced calculation. For that, first let's create a new table itself. Because we want everything else to be in others column. Top 5 states and every other value should be in other states column. So let's take union. I will put it as values. Order. I want streets, right? Great. Comma. Row and a single row. Let's put the name as state as the name, and it should be value should be others. So now we have a column, new table as top 5 states. Let's go to table and see its value. State, there will be a column called others here. We'll see. After all the states, there is something called others because we want the values other than these states to be in other columns. Now I'll create new measure as top n. That will just see how much states. If tomorrow we want to do 10 states, we don't have to make a lot of calculation changes. So we have a state and top states, other top 5 values. Now let's create a new measure So I hope up to this everything is clear to you. So now what we'll do is we'll create a calculation for the remaining. Let's put it as selected if the if selected value state. We want top 5 states equal to others. Then of 5 Let's put it as top. Let's see if I made some mistake. Okay, so I have a top state. Sorry, I tried to do. Okay. So if anything that has values, put it as sixth, and for everything, we'll use rank x function. That is rank x, all the values in state. Comma, on the basis of selected I'm not getting selected major here. I know why it is there. Let's try to fix that. For that, let's come back to calculation and see there is no relation between state and man table. So let's try to create that. Manage relationship, add a new one. The cities and rank, what was the other one? Top 5 cities and products was something that's similar to state what I was trying to achieve before this starting this class. So I will again go to order table and create a relationship between state and state. Okay, those. And now there's a relationship between. So if I try to go top 5, and now if I try to put it selected, it's giving me error here. Let me see. Parameter is not autocorrect. Why it is not correct? Let's get rid of this. Just use a rank function. That will make more sense. Let's put it on revenue and try to close it. The argument, the minimum one is 3. So let's get rid of it and put it here. It's, okay, let's put it as state. It's working now. Okay, now I found very stupid error that I was trying doing. I think that should solve it. So if selected value is top n, then other, else we'll try to rank everything. Yeah. Why there is a third one? Let's get rid of the third one. Is this closer? Why it is there? So finally, sorry. So what this does is let's come to new page and see what is it doing. If anybody is waiting, let me. Top state as one, and if I put states beside it. And let's sort it by rank. So let's inverse it. So here we have the ranking of our states. Up to this, I hope it's clear to you. This is giving me ranking of the states. This alternate condition, the sixth one, why it will come handy, I'll let you know in a while. The next what we'll give the others condition. For that, let's try. I do have already done the calculation. Let's use it and modify it. Or maybe try to do it on our own again, because that will make more sense. So let's take this calculation and we'll put it here. So I will get more time to explain you as we are running out of time. New measure. Let's money. So obviously we have the rank of our states as top states, right? That's what giving is. So if our rank is less than or equal to 5, let's select that selected major. That's there. Let's keep it that. But if the value is others for more than 5, take everything for all the states of top states greater than 5 selected major. Let's put it top 5 and other states. So yeah, let's close the menu. So now what is, just I missed something, I skipped. So now what it does is this major top 5 and other states. let's put it here and put the state's name aside so you can see it also, as I will explain what it is doing. Sorry, I made a mistake. That's why the other value wasn't coming. Let's try to compare. So yeah, so what we are doing, trying to get here is that everything that is less than or equal to 5 should be in, we'll get the selected measure for them. For anything else than that, everything should go in the other section. So let's go to table. Here is, there is others. That was the typo that was happening. Right now you can see only 5 of them because they're the word that we are using here is others. If I use it at that, this is the other section, and same was happening here. If we go down, somewhere there was something called others. Others is at rank 40. So if I go to top states again and I fix this typo error, and let's see what's the rank of other is. No, that's not the others is not there. Other is with Indiana ranked as 6. So we are ranking explicitly others at 6. And in this calculation, what we are doing is putting checking the values. If your state is in the top 5 states, no issues. Let them as it is. That if any state has rank as less than 5 or equal to 5, so, put their selected values as it is. But if the value, if not, otherwise, if the state name is other, we will filter the state. All states means it will remove all the filters that are there, and then it will put a filter on that, that only the states who are have rank more than 5. So only take all the states and then filter the remaining states than the top 5 and aggregate their measure, because it's already selected values is aggregated value. So using a sumx over that is simply aggregating that values again. Because the selected measure is already aggregated value, that's why a sumx function we have used. So a calculate would have also done the job if we rewrite the query that way. It's on your choice. So calculate the value and put all that value against the other states. So all the other values are coming as other states. So let's go to the page 2. And now let's get rid of the state filter. And put it as the 5 state and other states. So anyone, why it is giving me all the states name still? It's a very easy reason why it is giving me all the state names instead of showing is as the top 5 states as it was showing in the bar chart. That's because the state that we are using are from orders table. So there is no others column there. We'll get rid of that state and now we'll use that state. Now you can see our states are now aligned that how much California is contributing, still contributing the most, but we can see of overall percentage how these are contributing. Now that top 5 states that we created, other than obviously ranking that, what other purpose it serves, that comes into handy. Let's take it and put it into details maybe, or a mere tooltip. And let's sort our state by top 5. So that's is because that gives you your graph a better view, because others will be coming as first if we don't do it. So we sorted by that to show you, and now we can see. And now we can see of the overall profit, how much the 5 states are contributing. They are contributing to half of it, right? So that's how we achieve top 5 and others kind of thing in this. The last thing, it's more of a graph and less of a, but if we want to see how much segment wise it is earning, so any graph, as a matter of fact, any bar chart will take from orders. Let's select segment. Let's search it actually and put it at lesant month, obviously from calendar, because that's what we should always use, same date on our calculations. And now selected major as values. So now you have that which segment are contributing more, but what we want to see exact percentage how much. So this particular 100% stack bar chart is what we'll select. Come to the data, and enable the data levels. Decimal value, let's put it as 0. And now you can see in percentage that something, there will be obviously a scroll down when we view it on the server, so it will be more prominent there. But that's let's maybe you can zoom it out. Put it here. So yeah, so it shows you which segment is contributing more to your overall selected major, that is right now revenue. Or maybe if I select profit, it will be a bit different graph because there are losses also. So which segment is contributing most? So most of the incomes or profit, as we can see, is coming from corporate offices right now. So that's something with a 100% stack bar chart we can achieve. So we are almost at closing this session. I think most of the key things we have learned. The one last thing that I can want to discuss with you before closing it is the KPI. So what does that do? So we have a KPI card here. So right at the very top, I have made some calculations so that we don't, sales current year, that is nothing but aggregation of sales, and sales previous year, that is using the same calculation, same period last year, as you have seen. So I'll put my indicator as sales of current year and previous year as my target, that at least we want it to be that much, and how we are performing as compared to that. And from date, I will select maybe target. So that's let's say get rid of that header because it's looking clumsy. Let's get off title. We'll put a text field or something like that. So it is what does this do? It shows you that compared to previous months, how previous year, how your sales has been going. Like right now, it's showing revenue. It is 9,700 is. It's not showing you the total of earning as it's quite evident. Be quite evident from it. It's showing you the latest of the earning. Let's me show you. Sales current year as target. Maybe I will convert it to a bar chart. So sales current year and month as my axis. So you can see the 97 is not the summation of all the months. It is the latest month that it is being shown here. But what does that show is it's like share market, that it will show you the trend that how your revenue has been changing or how your profit has been changing over time. But at the same time, it will also show you that what's the latest value that you should consider. That right now, compared to previous year, it was like for previous month, it was same year, previous year, same month, it was 74K, and right now we are at 97K. So we are doing good right now. So such kind of things we can do. So with if we are using a dashboard with dynamic value changing and things like that, maybe putting a 3 KPIs, once for like I put it for sales, one for revenue and one for profit will be a good idea. That won't be changing. So it will give a user an overview kind of thing at the top, and below that everything can keep changing as per his requirement using a single dashboard. So I think that pretty much sums up today's session, and we can call it a day. I hope we could have done more, but that Tableau Power BI issue with I don't know what was the issue. Before restarting, it was gave a lot of trouble. Not sure why, but that's how it is. If you have doubts, you can always ask me a question, and I will revert back.
Thank you so much, sir, for the informative session. And dear participants, we hope that now you have liked the webinar and learned something out of it. So if you like it, then hit the like button. And if you think your friends will also get a benefit out of it, then please do share it with your friend as well. Comment down below the workshop what you want in the next upcoming Sundays. And please do subscribe to the Board Infinity channel for the more webinars, workshop, and the informative videos. And if you are looking for the data science courses, then do visit www.boardinfinity.com, and our counselor team will get in touch with you within the 24 hours and will be assisting you for your career as well. So thank you so much, dear participants. You were very lovely audience, and thank you so much, sir, for giving your informative insights. And that is all about the Power BI Bootcamp, and it's a end now. We have completed 3 sessions back to back, starting from the Sundays, like previous Sundays. And yes, thank you so much, everyone.